Today, you'll be receiving from a message full of God's power to help you become everything that God has created you to be. You know, God sent his son, Jesus, to die for you to have a life of abundance and for you to be an ambassador for him. What does that mean? That your life should represent his goodness. It's time to be about it. Tune in today's message and you'll be blessed.
It's interesting. Verse 4 says, now when he had left speaking, then he said something to Simon. Again, Jesus not only took the man's boat, is addressing and ministering to everybody else. He didn't even say anything to Simon in the message. Simon Peter had to wait, hear the entire message, wait till he was finished with his sermon. It almost felt like he was an afterthought. Turn to Psalms chapter 23 really quickly. Keep a finger here in Luke 5. Psalms chapter 23. Let me show you something about crisis. It says, verse 1 says, the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, and thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Here's the thing. Psalms 23 really talks about the journey of life. Because have you ever thought about it? How does verse 4 fit into this? He's talking about, you're my shepherd, I shall not want. You make me to lie down. We're talking about green pastures. You restore my soul. Verse 5, you preparing a table before me. Surely goodness and mercy are being linked to me. They follow me everywhere I go. That sounds like God and Christianity to me, right? But verse 4 is still there. How is it that the Lord is my shepherd, but yet I still find myself at times walking through the valley of the shadow of death? Life, as long as you are here, will always present to you valleys of shadows of death or crisis or things that happen. And some people stay in crisis because they believe that somehow that pain is going to choose not to try and show up at your doorstep. And see, here's the thing with Jesus, with Peter in the boat, was that Jesus, and again, verse 4 can actually fit in here into this Psalms 23 because it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear. Why? Because you are with me. So when Jesus saw Peter in crisis, he didn't have to say anything directly to him. He just stepped on his boat to represent this to you and I today. That sometimes when you're in a trial, when you're in a challenge, you can feel like you're all by yourself. You could be married and spooned and booed up at night when you go to sleep and feel empty on the inside. But when Jesus died on the cross, if you have accepted him, he is on your boat. And at some point you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. It's not about goosebumps. It's not about feeling like things are going to be better. It's not like feeling things are going to be okay. It's nothing in the world, no kind of restoration could ever make this moment feel good. It's not about that. It's about the fact that I can fear not if I recognize he is still with me. The very famous poem, Footprints in the Sand. And the writer's talking about, as I'm walking through my life, I see two sets of footprints. But then when I get to the place where things get rough, there's only one set. It's like, God, how could you turn around and desert me when I needed you most? And he said, I never deserted you. In those tough times, I carried you. And you have to recognize that you are being carried. I, right now, in my own crisis, do not feel carried, and I do not feel loved. But this is when I have to make a decision. Either the Bible is true or it's not. Because if I allow myself to give in my feelings, give into my feelings, give into what I see, get into what seems unfair, I'm actually allowing the circumstance to forfeit my purpose for being here in the first place. You may be going through something big, but it is not big enough for your life, and it is not big enough for your purpose. Notice that in verse 1, 2, and 3, he's talking about God. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down. And I feel like those times, verse 1, 2, and 3, those are the times when you're going through and things seem to be going relatively well. You're saying that. But verse 4, he switches. And this is what you got to do in the middle of your crisis. He's no longer talking about God. He's talking to God. When he got into the valley of the shadow of death, he started talking to God. This is a partnership. Yea, though I'm walking through this drama right now, and I don't understand it, I will fear no evil, because you are my rod. You are my strength. And you comfort me. You, while I'm walking through the valley, you are preparing a future for me, even though I don't feel like I even want a future right now. You are preparing the future, that which I can't even see. And even when I'm walking through this valley, you have assigned goodness and mercy to be with me. That you haven't given up on me because I've given up on myself, or whatever it is that you're going through.
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I want to invite you to subscribe, as well as visit our website at michelleferguson.org. We have some materials there that can help you as you walk through life, live the life that God created for you. As always, I'm Michelle Ferguson, helping you to discover, develop, and celebrate who God has created you to be. See you next time.